Is this it? Is this the recording? Are we doing it?
We're doing it. It's now. Wait, hang on. I have to do the... It's time for Dylan Pollack. That's
Yes, this episode is all the thoughts of the week from Dylan Pollack.
Yeah, it's just one extended Dylan Pollack thoughts segment. I haven't even hit the button yet, but we'll get the mail button
immediately for the subtitle or the secondary title or whatever you want to call it for this episode, just being Thoughts of the Week with Dylan Pollack.
Thoughts of Christmas with the Joker with Dylan Pollack.
Yeah, you know.
As a young Jewish man, I feel specifically qualified for this.
Well, hi everyone. Yeah, we've got Dylan Pollack with here, if you couldn't tell, because he's been speaking, and you know his voice so well because he's been the third host of the podcast this entire podcast. If you're not familiar with Dylan Pollack, that's okay. You know
this
us.
Must be your first episode.
Yeah, it must be. We don't normally have. This is our first guest listener. Yay! Wait, no. Did I replace? No. Guest listener. There we go. Dylan Pollack. Dylan Pollack. Live and in color.
Now, Dylan,
you to be permanent.
Yeah.
I hope you understand now, like, my absolute turmoil of doing this over Zoom, because James has all control of the board.
I
can do nothing.
All the buttons are mine.
I'm okay with it. I just have to not be afraid to interrupt constantly.
That's what we do to each other all the time, so it's okay.
That's definitely what James does to me all the time.
Dylan, what is this podcast, and what is it about, and what do we do here?
This podcast is jump on the Bat-Wagon and watch the DCAU in the controversial airdate order. Brian has never seen it before. James has seen all of it. I've seen most of it. The Zeta Project, I don't know that one.
We'll bring you on for the Zeta Project series finale or something. Just so we can experience, and you'll have not watched any of the show leading up to it. You'll just watch the last episode.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
I'm a guest host this week, but with a contribution from viewers like you, I can become the permanent host.
Yeah.
Should we take a listener vote?
Yeah. Listener vote for if you want the podcast to be only Dylan from now on. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't actually do that because everyone's going to vote for that, and we're not going to do that. As, the children of the 1990s, something, you missed that part, so I'm docking you a point. And then...
I feel like Dylan did better at that than me.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
And then you're also, you're supposed to watch the episode. We recommend that you watch the episode that we're going to watch, which is Batman the Animated Series, Christmas with the Joker. Dylan requested to be on for either this episode or the next 3 episodes without me realizing that was the order of the episodes. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting selection of episodes. It just happened to be the next 4, 5 or whatever that we were watching.
I also at one point said effing anything as my request, and then the next week you read that and you were like, Dylan says effing anything and add effing anything, and you were just very confused.
Yeah. I couldn't read the sentence. Like, I'm listening back, I could hear it, you saying it, and I was like, oh, James, you idiot. This is what Dylan was saying, you obviously. But yeah, trying to read it was like, where's the punctuation? What am I looking at? I don't understand.
I think you, Jamie, trying to read things is one of my favorite parts of the podcast. Like, remembering like the early days when you like Tip Tapricot was completely out of your comprehension. You're like Tip Tapricot.
Yeah, I still wish I was calling them Tip Tapricot, but you know.
Dylan, did we ever get your name seriously wrong?
No, which is actually really impressive considering generally my name is said wrong by most people.
Yeah, I mean,
I normally get a Pollack or a Pollack, something like that.
Pollack, yeah.
Dylan Pollack.
Dylan? There's
Unlike,
a character named Dylan on
what's
Babylon
his name?
5.
Kevin Ranke. There was never really an issue.
Yeah. Or that one guy that I'm still not going to try to say it. You're listening right now, guy, but you're like, hey, you say my name wrong every time. No, I'm not going to try. I'm going to mess it up. But you know who I'm talking about, you listening?
Cosm something.
So Brian and Dylan,
yeah.
This is the second episode produced and the 38th to air.
Okay, that is the worst we've had so far.
Yeah, it is.
Between production and air.
And I think next episode next episode and the one after it, or no, just next episode is one of the closest that we've had. But yeah, this is I thought for a while, I was like, oh, because it's the Christmas episode. So clearly they were like purposely waiting till Christmas. But this aired Friday, November 13th, 1992. No skip days, 4:30 p.m. on Fox. This was, so I have no idea. This was written by Eddie Gorodetsky, directed by Kent Butterworth. I did not list any previous episodes that these people were on because they were not on any.
Fun fact, actually, Kent Butterworth famously married to Mrs. Butterworth.
Oh, yes, nice.
Yeah.
I had that in Tribs, but you ruined.
People colloquially know him.
What's that about people not being able to talk, bro?
He's nervous. It's not every day that Brian gets to meet one of his heroes. It's okay.
True. I'm so excited that you graced us with your presence, Dylan.
Yeah.
What were you? I had to clear a lot of time.
What were you actually trying to say, Brian?
Colloquially.
Yeah, you said that.
I was making a Mr. Buttersworth joke, but it's not worth it.
All this time later. Music by Michael McQuistion and Lolita Ritmanis. And animation by ACOM Productions. Now, for the listener that is not familiar with ACOM, I will list the previous episodes, and I would like to list them, and then we say something bad that happened in that episode in the animation, okay? The first episode that we watched that they animated was Feet of Clay Part 1. I don't recall anything specifically bad other than it just being kind of lumpy and sloppy and weird, but I don't know. This is the only one that didn't have like a...
I think that's where he came up with the refried beans thing.
That's true, but he did look like beans in both halves. I'll give him that.
Remember anything?
Yeah.
It just is also followed by part 2, which has just such an amazing animation sequence in it.
Yeah.
So then it just gets overshadowed completely. Speaking of which, they also did The Cat and the Claw Part 2, famously a fire hand at the end of it, and other such fire animation that is terrible. Yeah. Be a Clown, where Jordan Hill was taller than a truck, and roller coasters went in all sorts of directions.
Yeah.
We had The Last Laugh. That was the Captain Clown on Taco Barge episode.
You killed Captain Clown?
We sure did. It was us. Prophecy of Doom with Nostromos and all the planets and everything in the planetarium.
The cast iron / paper mache planets.
Yes. Mad as a Hatter, where our teeth were very hard. All of these so far, I think, are on the bottom 10 or most of them. So it's a coincidence, you know. The Strange Secret of Bruce Wayne, where Robin was on stilts, and there's probably something else stupid in that. I don't know.
It's a pretty good episode, though.
It is. Cat Scratch Fever, with all of the bad everything.
That's on the bottom 10.
Yeah, and Moon of the
Machine Gun
Wolf.
Circle and stuff.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And Moon of the Wolf, which is the most recent ACOM episode that we've watched.
Which wasn't the worst ACOM has done.
No. And then
However,
we have...
this being the second episode, I'm expecting an absolute just grueling mess of animation.
The second episode produced. Also following the great animation in On Leather Wings, you know, that Brian remembers and likes a lot.
Is that the worst episode ever?
Yeah, that's the one you're thinking of. And then we have this episode, Christmas with the Joker, and 2 more ACOM episodes. And then we're finally done with ACOM forever, and we can stop the podcast, because that's all we were doing, was making sure we got through just the ACOM episodes for Brian.
But just so Brian knows, the last ACOM episode is the last episode of Batman the Animated Series.
No.
So far down
the line.
You actually had
third episode produced and 85th to air. Anyway.
I want to know why this was such a, why was it the second produced, the 30 whatever?
Yeah.
And not even on Christmas?
I don't know.
See, what happened was they wanted to get close to Christmas, and then they just got too excited. It's like when they say don't open until Christmas, and you're like, I gotta open it. So
I gotta know what ACOM's got in store for me.
They were like, let me throw this on right after the X-Files. Who cares?
In living color. ACOM, baby.
I forgot that's what it was. In Living Colors, right before Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
What came after? Actually, that's a really good question. What, if it was In Living Color and then Batman, what was after? I mean, X-Files didn't seem like that big of a stretch.
They turned the TV
off. I feel like
off.
it's definitely the reverse, too. I feel like In Living Color is definitely after.
Who knows? We'll never know, and we'll never look it up because we're going to go watch Christmas with the Joker now, okay?
No. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay. Here we go.
What's your game, Joker?
Oh, just a little holiday entertainment, Batman. I'm sure all the folks at home will enjoy sharing this special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, live from the top of Mount Gotham, the death of Batman. When you care enough to send the very blast. We'll return in just a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor.
Don't drink the Alamo beers from Mexico. If anybody gets that King of the Hill reference, you've seen it a lot.
Nope.
I need to watch more of that. I'm sorry, Dylan.
I appreciate your pity laugh anyway, James.
Yeah. I mean, I laugh when Brian tells me quotes from Frisky Dingo, and I don't know what they are. So.
Yeah, I was like, I saw that on the TV guide at some point, but I don't know what the hell that is.
On the TV guide.
Okay, what are we doing?
Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
Yoppie Christmas.
Yoppie Christmas. Why? Yoppie Christmas, gentlemen.
That's Merry Christmas, Jamie.
Oh, damn it.
And a jokey New Year.
Oh.
Yoppie New Year, I think it makes more sense than Yoppie Christmas.
Yoppie, yop, yop.
Yop, and a yoppie, yop, yop. Yop.
Yoppie, yop, yop.
You know, someone once said that how many times we say yop in an episode had some correlation, but I can't remember what it was, so I guess it's probably not important.
The war on Yop has to end.
Yeah, we brought someday. Dylan's the first guest listener, but we'll bring Yop Tower on as a guest listener someday, and we'll clear the air. Okay, so we watched Christmas with the Joker. Not at Christmas time at all. It didn't air at Christmas time. It's Christmas in June. We're watching it today. So. Did it put you in the Christmas spirit, though? It's May, and it's also going to be May. It still will be May. 5 is May, isn't it? It's when my birthday is. Did you know that? I feel really dumb that I was like, yeah, it's June. You're right. Yeah, for some reason I did think that by 2 days from now it would be June, but no, it's actually in 7 days from now it will be June. Yeah, May's only got 27 days in it. It's taken over. You're right. This month. Yeah. We gave February a couple more out of pity to fill them up. So anyway, past that, Brian, what happened here in this episode, Christmas with the Joker? Or should we give this to Dylan? Should Dylan tell us what happened in Christmas with the Joker? We should give this to Dylan. Okay, Dylan. What happened in Christmas with the Joker? You, buddy. You've watched it twice in the last week, so. I know. The sad part is I've watched it twice, and I'm like, So Joker, for some reason, has a rocket attached to a Christmas tree. Yes. He uses said rocket to propel himself out of Arkham Asylum, presumably not going through any kind of glass or anything. How does he land later? I don't know. He then somehow manages to take over all television networks. Yeah. Whilst Batman and Robin are preparing for It's a Wonderful Life, which he asks if it's a cheery movie, and I'm pretty sure George Bailey contemplates suicide for at least half of it. He does. So yeah. I don't think it is. Then, Batman for some reason knows why Toy Factory's been closed down for 14, 15 years. Not weird at all. This is the For Some Reason episode, I think. And then for some reason, Batman pulls out a bat. Yeah. For some reason, a telescope turns into a cannon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For some reason, the Joker is using his chin to talk, like his chin is his face, and then he pulls off his chin. Yeah. Which is like a weird A-comedy type thing. He pulled off his chin, but he also, he was upside down, so I'm like, clearly the camera's upside down. But no, he was just, standing on the ceiling, and then, because the room didn't move at all when he turned right side up, so. He kind of went 90 degrees. Yeah, and then, yeah. He was just Spider-Manning his way back to a standing position.
That's how they got the idea for that Inception hallway fight. They were watching this.
Chris was the Joker. Joseph Gordon-Levitt I was in a Batman movie.
And then, I guess Joker was like, you know what? I've done all of this not to actually kill Batman, but I really want to throw a pie in his face.
Yeah.
And he did. And I really wish we could have seen Joker, like, have a seat, Batman, whoopee cushion. Have a sniff, Batman, flower that shoots water. But we didn't get all of that. But then, eventually, Joker loses his sleeves, which have hands on them, and almost falls to his death. And Batman catches him, and then they watch It's a Wonderful Life. The end.
The hands thing was like a very Simpsons feeling moment that I forgot happened, where he's just like, he's wearing a coat with hands under his real coat or over his real coat and hands, and he's like, when the audio there when Batman's grabbing his fake hands, he's just like, like, just like, it's so like he thinks it's so fucking hilarious that he tricked Batman in that moment. He thinks everything is really funny. All the stupid little pranks that he's doing that aren't like death related whatsoever. He's just like, I'm gonna put the Nutcracker music on.
You can tell he was really having fun.
Yeah.
Great time.
Yeah.
We also got a great moment where Brian heard Alfred and was like, "But no, that's not Alfred."
Yeah.
That's not how Alfred works.
Yeah, we've had so many Alfred Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. episodes that you've probably forgotten there was an earlier guy.
Yeah, I did, and I didn't realize just how bad he was, because it was such a it was a cliche. It was like a cliche of a butler.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very it's harder to tell when we're watching all these Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. episodes, but then going back to the original guy is like, what am I listening to?
I think it was only one line, but it was, or maybe two.
Yeah, you had one earlier, but it was harder to tell earlier because you weren't like prepared for it. The official synopsis is actually a pretty good one. I give this one a good synopsis rating. The Joker takes over Gotham's airwaves and terrorizes the city during Christmas. He's hiding in a TV studio, holding Commissioner Gordon, Detective Pollack, and Summer Gleason, spelled with an A incorrectly, hostage. He challenges Batman to find him before midnight, or else the hostages will have a very unmerry Christmas. And that's it. That's the entire synopsis.
That's much better than mine.
Yeah. I just like that it doesn't, and then Batman fights the Nutcrackers with a bat, and then Robin catches multiple airplanes in a trash can because they were apparently just going to go in a straight line.
Let's talk about that, shall we?
Sure. We're skipping to near the end. They're having a very elongated fight with multiple Christmas-themed robots and such.
So what the ACOMness that upset me about this fight scene was like these giant nutcrackers. Batman like jumps up, does some like gymnastics, like the uneven bars kind of like maneuvers on the nose of one. The head just flies off for some reason. And these things are like 100 feet tall anyway. And then after defeating those really, really easily, somehow those were like the first course, these little airplane dudes come out, and the size of the ones that Batman is like swinging a bat at are probably like a foot or two wide. And then the 3 or 4 that come flying at Robin, by the time they get to the trash can, they're about 2 inches wide.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, it was way, like the scale was just complete. I mean, it was very ACOM.
Yeah.
But with the robots, ACOM just knows Batman's got hops. You know what I mean? Batman can dunk. That's canon.
Will it canon? Batman can dunk. Yeah,
yes.
The fact that this is like, it's an ACOM episode, but it's also the first episode that they did, and also the second episode of the entire show. So like no one is doing any sort of regulation really on the quality control of any of this. And I noticed that it was the whole episode. I mean, I've seen this so many times because it's like a Christmas tradition for me to watch this and the handful of other holiday specials of the DCAU. But I've never really like, I've known that it's sloppy and bad forever, but I've never compared it to like a Scooby-Doo episode or a Super Friends episode or something. That's all I could do this whole time, because there's so many, like, Robin shot some little dart thing out of a gun, and the shot was just like locked onto the dart as a swooshing background went by. And then we also had like the train that's just like one static image painting of the train going off the tracks, but it's just like shifting in a very I don't know, low budget looking way. There were repeating backgrounds. There were people's mouths that weren't on the right spot. There was all this stuff that I was just like, and then also just the tone of Batman and Robin talking to each other, very like old chum type of stuff going on the whole time. And I'm like, this just feels like a Super Friends episode, or like just a Scooby-Doo meets Batman and Robin type of thing. And I had not really ever mentally compared it to that before, but watching it that way on purpose from now on, I think will be fun. So.
I also feel like it's not a glaring thing, but Joker's eyes are I just noticed on the entire episode that the amount of black around them changes, and sometimes he's a little cross-eyed.
Yeah.
It's just a little weird looking.
Yeah, his face in general had like 5 different total drawings that just kind of repeated.
I think one of the things that got me most about the animation of this episode was how inconsistent the background people were. Like that scene of like the street scene.
Yeah.
Most of the people didn't look like people.
It was the same kind of thing of Jordan Hill's birthday party, where they're just like weird, like hybrid animal people that.
And then Santa Claus like staying there basically perfectly still, and just like the camera pan. That was weird. But my favorite worst animation was Robin's mouth not sitting on.
Yeah, he's not even moving.
He's not moving, but the mouth sure is.
Yeah, the mouth is just vibrating. Yeah. Someone accidentally bumped that layer of cells. Oh, fuck. No, put it back constantly.
I do love that street moment, though, where the guy is running up to the lady.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, this is a murder. It's happening. He's like, this right now, it's going down.
That dude holding a wrapped Christmas present, he's totally going to rob that lady.
Yeah, and
he hadn't done anything yet, and Batman was like, we're going.
Yeah, he's just waiting for something terrible to happen. I like how you, at the exact same time that he said it, Brian, you said, you dropped your package or whatever, like you knew exactly what it was going to do. And then we joked that then as soon as Batman's out of sight, okay, give me all your fucking money. Quite the episode.
It really was, man.
It's got a charm to it that's never made me like angry the way that a Moon of the Wolf or a Nostromos whatever episode has, but or a Sewer King episode has. But it's I don't know. It's just like it's a classic Batman the Animated Series episode. Everybody's seen this episode, but it's so bad. I don't know, sloppy. Like it's not a bad. I don't consider this a bad episode for whatever reason, but I think that it doesn't know what it is yet. It doesn't know what the show is. It doesn't know what to do constantly.
I will say it feels like this episode knows what it is. Like this episode's tongue in cheek, and it's like it's having fun. It's not like the Sewer King is trying to be serious, and you're like, I can't.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
It makes you wonder what they were thinking, like on episode 2. They're like, oh, this is gonna be kind of like a cheeky Batman.
Yeah.
But then you fast forward to like, Feet of Clay or Heart of Ice or that sort of thing, and it's like a completely different show.
It's very weird to think that this is episode 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I brought it up in some early episode of this podcast, but there's like a famous like Kevin Conroy or Mark Hamill always bring it up when they're interviewed about the show, is like they recorded a few episodes together and then watched. I'm pretty sure they were shown like chunks of On Leather Wings, and that they were all like, oh my God, like, did you realize this is what we were making? Like, this is incredible, kind of a thing. And then to just like the next episode produced is this like sloppy, weird, old-timey Christmas episode that's a completely different vibe than On Leather Wings. I don't know. Just a very strange...
was like, did you realize this is what we were making?
Yeah. Oh shit, I saw a different episode. Yeah. Well, and this is also I'll just say it now, even though it's in Tribs later, but this was one of the episodes recorded by Tim Curry before Mark Hamill replaced him. So this wouldn't have even been I don't know, a Mark Hamill original episode like that he would have been like excited about or whatever. But still, we have a recording of a scene from the Captain Clown episode with Tim Curry, but I've never seen anything Tim Curry from this one, so it'd be interesting to see like his different take on. I can see like Joker being a little more kooky in this, like he's a little more crazy, I guess, in this episode. Less like other episodes, he's had a very definite evil plan. This one, he's just kind of being a fucking lunatic and for no real purpose other than put a pie in Batman's face. So
he's chaotic evil.
Yeah. He switches
and
around.
Put a pie in Batman's face. He did.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're like, that could have been a murder weapon or something. And no, I've got this, Robin. Don't worry.
What was actually, that's a fantastic Frisky Dingo reference that you just made.
No, I didn't.
In Frisky Dingo, and I'm going to like slight spoilers, there's a character who says literally that. He says, "No, I got this." They're facing a giant like monster. And he like goes to do this like big heroic thing where he like looks like he has this bomb, and he goes and like runs and jumps into this giant monster's mouth, and you're like waiting for the thing to explode and the guy to like walk away like a superhero, but that's literally the character's death. His mouth, and then he dies. I don't know where I was going with that.
That was good.
What?
I feel like Brian wanted us. I feel like he wanted one of us to save him once he finished that story with connecting it back.
No, that's it.
Yeah, wait, what were we talking about?
We're talking about the cast of this episode, yeah?
We were talking about Frisky Dingo.
Yeah, okay. We have Kevin Conroy as Frisky Dingo. The Frisky Dingo himself, Batman. We have... You get to be present for one of these, Dylan. Robert Costanzo as Detective Pollack.
Put it there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, no, it's too late.
No, I can't. It's done. Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon. Clive Revel as Alfred.
Damn it, Clive. You dropped the ball.
Mark Hamill as the Joker. Mary Devon as some lady. And Lauren Lester as Robin. And that's it. We've had all those people before. Even though this is most of their first appearance or second appearance.
I do feel like this was a better Robin introduction.
I was going to say, yeah, I said during the episode, suddenly there came a Robin for real, because this is the actual first Robin episode. And I said before when that happened that like, oh, his production introduction isn't that much better. But you, I guess, thought it was better than him just suddenly being there or whatever.
Well, the thing was that like in his first air date introduction, he was like, it was almost like they just like cut to like mid conversation with them.
Yeah.
And it was just so suddenly like Robin was just there. Where in this one, it was like, you literally had like the doors opening and it's like, Batman and Robin. Like, we know this. Like, it felt more comfortable. And the other one was just like, oh, we've been doing this for hundreds of years, Robin. Don't you remember?
Yeah, we're always been partners. I mean, you saw him as Dick Grayson in that, but you didn't know that's who that was naturally. So, yeah. And then in this, yeah, they're just having this like joyful Christmas related conversation. It felt like a much easier transition into here's Robin. Yeah,
I guess so. That establishing shot makes a huge difference for Brian, because I'm like, no, he's just out of nowhere.
He's just
They're
there,
just
yeah.
like, Robin.
That's fair.
Maybe Brian was just filled with the Christmas spirit, and he's more forgiving.
Yeah, man, I love Christmas.
Did you like Batman's big screen TV that was just like a very large Jetsons oval TV?
That was another situation where I had no idea what the scale was there.
Yeah.
Was the TV 3 feet away and like 3 feet wide? Or was it 50 feet away and 100 feet wide? Like,
well, it's also they're walking toward it in a terrible ACOM perspective in the first shot that you see of it. So they're just like, oh, okay, this is a normal living room TV. And then, why are they so small? Oh, God, the TV's actually huge.
I always thought it was just a massive TV. I was like, he's a billionaire. He's got like a theater room.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
Maybe the reality is that he has a shrink ray and it's a normal size TV. So he walks into the theater, they get smaller, and they get close to the TV.
Or he unshrunk the tiny TV. He embiggened the tiny TV.
He set it to Wumbo.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you got Brian with a mouthful of sun. He's drinking the entire sun, everybody. Do we explain this? No. Okay. Trivia. There's some big trivs, so I'll get into it.
Trivs.
When Batman and Robin drive away from the observatory, they passed most scenery twice. Yes, that was one of the animation things I pointed out.
Yeah, you noticed that.
Yeah, they're driving away and they're like 3 street signs every like 2 seconds. Just the same ones. I couldn't read them in time. There's just a handful of these like animation mistakes at the top that are, I'm sure, just the icing on the cake of animation errors. The pie, if you will. At one point, Batman uses his cape as a decoy. Then right after it gets shot full of holes, he puts it back on and it's perfectly intact. We did notice that one.
Dylan put that out first. Like, is that the same cape?
Just barely noticed it. It was so seamless, I almost couldn't tell.
There's another use of that tactic in a much better entry in this show, but where he just like distracts people shooting at him with putting his cape on a different thing. What?
I just had a realization. Batman in that scene went and like jumped and like hid behind those stuffed animal bears,
mm-hmm.
and the bullets were just like
bouncing off.
Ricocheting off.
Yeah.
There were no bullet holes going into those bears. He puts a cape over one, and then it gets riddled with holes.
The cape does.
The bear does
no,
too.
the bear had holes in it too.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Which the cape is also way smaller than the bear. And how heavy is that freaking bear? Because those two guys were like, we're not getting up.
I didn't even think about the size of the cape on it. Yeah, it's like draped over it and still the full height of the bear, but then it crushes 2 grown men, and it's much larger.
The bear was probably roughly 20 feet tall to crush the guys that way.
And approximately 600 pounds.
Approximately 600 pounds. And the cape went over it completely, like at 360 degrees. So his cape must be approximately 40 feet long.
And then it gets. Maybe that's why when he puts it back on, you don't see the holes. That was the backside of the cape. He just ripped off a chunk that didn't have holes in it and put that on.
Cloak.
Yeah, this is much better. This is fine. Anyway, when Batman and Robin enter Joker's lair, Batman pulls his cape together, yet the cape's shadow does the exact opposite and expands. I didn't notice that one.
I didn't see that.
As he watches Batman evade the blasts from a cannon, Joker makes a reference to Hallmark's old slogan, "When you care enough to send the very best," with "when you care enough to send the very blast." It was probably the worst joke in the whole episode. It didn't even register with me.
Acknowledge it.
No, I didn't.
I'm
even
not up on my deep cuts Hallmark references.
Yeah, my Hallmark slogans from the mid '80s, probably. This is the only episode where the Joker does not at least once wear his usual purple suit. In Comic Scene magazine number 31, Paul Dini confirmed Joker's outfit in this episode is supposed to be like that of outfits often associated with Perry Como, famous Christmas album singer man. You know Perry Como.
I probably know an album cover.
Yeah. He wears like a red turtleneck a lot, or whatever the fuck Joker was wearing. He wears a jacket with fake hands all the time. It was a reference in this episode.
That's Perry Como's thing.
Yeah.
He's known for it.
That Joker had to do it. This is one that I added because of how many times that I've noticed this. The Joker's cardboard cutout audience features several notable Gotham City faces: Batman, Robin, Commissioner Gordon, Detective Bullock, Renee Montoya, Summer Gleason, and Mayor Hamilton Hill. However, also included is Alfred Pennyworth, who makes no sense to be there considering nobody but Batman and Robin would know his importance to the world of this show.
That's a fantastic point.
There's just like Joker created these cardboard cutouts. He's like, I'll also include random citizen Alfred Pennyworth that never leaves the mansion that I don't know at all.
I thought I saw an Alfred, but I was like, that wouldn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
And it doesn't.
That's why. Brian, there was something.
Dynamite.
Yes. So, do you want to explain what happened with the dynamite?
I sure do.
Okay.
Oh, I sure do. So there was a big steel bridge. I don't know if I know the type. I want to say it's a suspension bridge because it's got the arc thing, but it's not actually a suspension bridge because it's hung. What's that You're like the bridge construction that breaks. It's a bridge. It's a big steel bridge.
How do you know it's steel, Brian? Dynamite can't melt steel beams.
Oh God.
So
George Bush did Christmas with the Joker. You gotta think smart.
And as we all know, that led to the war on Yop.
Yes. Sorry, Brian. I keep interrupting your "that's not how that works" moment.
I mean, that is what you do. It's fine.
I know.
So basically, the guys put what I'm guessing is like 15-ish pounds of dynamite just against a steel girder on this bridge. A very, 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 very big steel girder. And dynamite is strong. Dynamite has a lot of force to it. But its force is usually like it's best utilized when it's contained. You basically make like a gun out of a mountain. You drill a hole, you put dynamite in, and then you blow it up, and that's fine. If you have dynamite just hanging out in space, like it doesn't have like that kind of like, you know, if it was like C4 or something that you could like attach to the steel girder and make it actually have some damage to it. You'd have a big explosion, but it's not gonna damage a bridge that large with pylons that big and surely like several inches thick of steel.
So would you say that
that's not how that works?
New sound, everybody, new sound. I had to pitch up our voices to match the key of the music, and it sounds really weird.
That's amazing. Can you play that one more time?
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
The buzzer hitting the note.
The buzzer, and the fact I'm sure you had to like pitch shift the buzzer.
That I was planning to. I drag and dropped the sound effect in, and it was already that note.
No way!
Yeah, I had to pitch us, but I didn't touch the buzzer sound.
Good job, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Good.
Yeah, the other thing, unlike the dynamite, I can't prove that it's not how that works. Donner and Blitzen, how are they getting paid? We saw him just break out of Arkham Asylum. He does talk about Wakanda sponsors. Is he actually getting sponsored by somebody?
I mean,
what do Donner and Blitzen get out of this?
This is a constant like henchman question: is how do they get paid, and why would you ever do this or whatever? But, yeah.
Well, I want to like delve also into that's not how that works. And Dylan, I'm just gonna go on assumptions that you understand like media production, and you alluded to this earlier. Mm-hmm. How would Joker be able to take over all of TV?
So I sort of have an answer for this, but I'll let Dylan.
I think you do, but I want to hear Dylan.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the simple answer is he wouldn't. That's the one I'm going to go with, is that's not a thing that you can do.
I mean, but what would it take? What would it take to take over every single channel from one TV studio?
Are you asking me now, the actual answer?
Yeah, please ask James now.
I would refer to The Batman Adventures number 1 through 3, where the Joker obtains several pieces of different technology that he combines to take over the airwaves of Gotham City that we've canonically placed before this episode, because he can then just do it in this episode, no problem. So there's no real answer. That's just my answer, is because he made it. He did it.
Yeah, that's one of those things that in media you just need that like generic device. Like, what was the one in The Dark Knight Rises? It was like the clean slate, the one that makes so that you have no criminal profile anymore. Of course.
Yeah, let me just explain it for the audience real quick. Yeah. Yeah, this isn't the first timeline wise, I guess, and not the last time that the Joker will just take over TV. So you have that to look forward to again.
That's a pretty specific. I know I never worked in broadcast, but I understand that you don't broadcast to everywhere all at once.
Yeah, they showed that he has one antenna he took over, but there's no one antenna that controls all TV stations.
Yeah, I'd say just like the TNT Looney Tunes style explosion of the bridge, the taking over TV airwaves as the supervillain of the episode is just like a trope, I guess, of just like The children have been indoctrinated to know that this is a thing that bad guys do, and they'll just do it. No, don't ask how. Don't push the "that's not how that works" button, kids at home on your parents' remote control.
I just love the reality of if this was actually how that works.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like if this was reality, what would have happened was Joker would be at that TV station. He would take over that feed, and he'd be all like, "Ha ha ha, Batman! I hope you're and Robin would change the channel, and it would just go to another channel. And this whole thing would
he'd try it again.
Yeah, and they're just watching It's a Wonderful Life while Joker's like, "Ha ha ha, Batman!"
And right as It's a Wonderful Life ends, Harvey Bullock dies.
You're to be realistic about it. If he wanted to have some sort of security camera or something, like he somehow knew Batman was Bruce Wayne. He's looking into Wayne Manor. Okay, he's gonna watch It's a Wonderful Life. That's on PBS at 10:30. Okay, that's the exact time and channel I'm gonna do. And then Batman at the last second goes like, I really think we should have done that one final sweep of the city. Okay, and then they go do that instead. And he's just fuck. You just see, like, come back. No, you asshole.
Wisest thing would have been to do some kind of like interference, like rather than like the cable feed or whatever it is going into Bruce Wayne's manor, to just literally interrupt that cable.
Right.
Like to the side of his house, you disconnect the coax cable, you put some kind of feed that goes.
And Joker's just standing 13 feet outside of Wayne Manor with a video camera. Oh, you'll never find where I'm at, Batman.
That's a really good point, though. Would he have?
He's just in Batman's giant TV. He's just performing it himself in there.
There's enough room in there, yeah.
It's just a giant cardboard box.
Robin keeps hitting the channel up button. Like, Robin, you know this.
TV's unplugged.
I've told you so many times, Dick. This is not a real TV. This is where Alfred performs puppet shows for us.
Joker's just making that channel change noise. That okay, I'm back.
Boop, beep. Yeah, that's so much better. Better explanation for that TV than I've ever come up with.
Can you make that? Can you prove that that's canon?
Yeah, we got the big TV and what was the other? Will it canon?
Batman can dunk.
That's right. Yeah, two things that we discovered this episode. Hey, I'm only like a third of the way through the tribs. I'm gonna keep going. This is another thing that I put in as a pedantic James thing. Robin is visually smaller in this episode than his subsequent appearances. As it is his first appearance in the show production-wise, it's possible the animation... This is my hypothesis anyway, that the animation company and or storyboard artists were simply defaulting to the usual Batman and Robin height difference in animation up until this point, as seen in such programs as Super Friends or the new Scooby-Doo movies, as well as the animated opening titles of the 1966 Batman TV show. Despite the original B-Tast Robin design being shorter and younger looking, there's like in the Writer's Bible, there's this pre-B-Tast Robin design where he's like a foot shorter than he is in the actual show, and he's got different hair and stuff. The Writer's Bible does describe him as older than the classic depictions of Robin, about 20. Dick will attend college at Gotham State where he majors in criminology. So there's not a real excuse other than it's ACOM that he's small, but he's just so small in this episode.
I noticed that.
Probably not a growth spurt.
Yeah. That'd be one hell of a growth spurt.
And suddenly there came around.
Like Bruce is like, as Batman, is taking up like the whole screen and like looking down at Robin. Robin's just like straight up at him, It's like,
yeah, I mean, there's the Adam West Batman shows like animated intro where they like turn toward each other and shake hands while smiling, and Robin's like 2 feet tall. That's just how he's felt this whole episode. It's like, why is he so small?
Also, the scale and physics were interesting at that kind of opening scene where they both like one at a time jump into the Batmobile and kind of like clip through it in a weird way, and their scale changes as they sit into the seats.
Yeah, that's something that I've never like quite understood about pre-digital cartoons, is like, obviously you still have like physical layers of paintings and animation cells and stuff, but I guess the most efficient way to like Batman hopping into the Batmobile, he doesn't then go behind a painting of the front half of the Batmobile. Whoever's animating Batman just starts cutting off the line at a specific spot or whatever, like, oh, don't draw more Batman. So then there's so then there's just an outline of where he stops, and it just always looks so bad. Like, it is not just this moment, it's just any older cell shaded thing. And just always, I don't get why you can't put, I'm sure there's a good reason, and I just turned 31, okay? Brian, you should know.
I'm just picturing James' wife leaving a post-it that says, "Don't draw more Batman."
Yeah, please stop. That's the end. Yeah. This is the only episode directed by Kent Butterworth, as well as the only one written by Eddie Gorodetsky. There's this quote from Bruce Timm. "It's one of our weirdest shows. The original director, Kent Butterworth, quit and went to Universal in the middle of production. Eric Radomski pretty much redirected it through the layout stage, making it tighter. So it could have been worse, apparently, and the director just left halfway through."
Surely that was a breach of contract.
Yeah, well, I wonder, like, because, you know, this is the second episode produced. He's just barely hopped on, like, yeah, I'll do whatever, Batman. This means nothing to me and the world at this moment. And then he just, never mind, just goes away.
Kent was dripping in syrup money at the time, and now, 30 years later, he's looking back like, I could have been a director for the entire DCAU.
He was very progressive, taking his wife's last name. But yeah, dripping in syrup money. It was very sticky money. Bruce Timm also said of this episode, "I like the fact that Fox always runs it on Christmas every year. It's really different than a typical sappy Christmas episode on other series. It's dark, bitter, and weird. It started out as a much nastier, really funny script written by a friend of Paul Dini, Eric Radomski. When Joker says, 'I didn't have a family of my own, so I decided to steal one,' it's a regular family he's stolen, making it more intense and scary. The episode originally opened with killer toys made by the Joker appearing in stores days before Christmas. The hostages also would have had bombs strapped to their stockings."
I would have absolutely loved to see that episode.
I think you kind of almost predicted that original version last time. You were like, oh, the Joker's going to go Christmas shopping and kill people or something like that. I can't remember, but close enough. We'll count it.
I definitely wouldn't use the words dark, bitter, intense, or scary for this episode.
No, weird, yeah.
But weird nailed it. I just realized something we haven't talked about yet was what did he call him? The lawful...
Oh, yeah, the...
Daddy lawful. Or
yeah, the awful lawfuls, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and the candy canes.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk about the candy canes.
Yeah.
Dylan, do you want to lead us on this?
Yeah, from what I hear, those candy canes are just so freaking good that even when Mommy Lawful has her hands open so she can unwrap her present, she's like, "I'm not taking out this candy cane. It is so good."
I can't. You just once you pop, you just can't stop. I hear.
Joker just misses calling as a candy maker, apparently.
Yeah, Joker. He walks down the line and takes them out of each character's mouth one by one so that they can yell something at him. But then he just shoves the candy cane back in their mouth, and they don't spit it out or bite through it or anything very easy to do. They just, I'm locked into this again now.
It's just the most effective gag method ever.
Yeah, no one's ever tried it. Have you tried it? I don't think so. You don't know for sure.
To be fair, I don't have a candy cane on me. I could try it with a pencil or something like that.
No,
but I don't
it's
know if
different.
It's
no, it's the sticky sugar. You can't get it out of your mouth.
Let's pause, Dylan. I know it's really late for you, but let's all go to the store. Let's go see if we can find a candy cane. We'll reconvene in 20, 30 minutes, and then we'll pick this back up. And we'll
candy cane in May, June, whenever this is.
Yeah, May, June.
Candy canes in this economy?
Well, in May, June of all times.
They're out of season. It's crazy.
Even if I could find a candy cane at a time like this, my prediction is that we would be very easy to spit out of our mouths. So, yeah.
But the listener, who is still me, would love to hear us all just chewing on candy canes right now. That's what would make this podcast better.
It's constantly.
Actually,
what?
Wait a minute.
Do you have a candy cane? You might have a candy cane after all. We can play the Hero thing.
One host down, one to go.
I have a candy cane. I made an order from Sweetwater recently, and they always give you a tiny bag of candy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so live on the podcast, listener, we're going to see, and by listener I mean Dylan Pollack's sock puppet accounts. We can see once and for all if putting a mince.
I have this.
It's candy cane colored. Yeah.
It's like a cross section of a candy cane.
Yeah. Okay.
Crinkle the wrapper. Let the people hear it.
Then you have to like put it in your mouth like sideways.
Okay. Like this way or this way?
That way.
Okay, so there's a chance that I'm not going to be able to talk after doing this.
Oh shit! Yeah, no one's there. No one's there to rip it out of your mouth.
Turn the front what?
Turn the front topwards.
This is another King of the Hill, you piece of shit.
I'm close. It's a very specific Simpsons reference too.
Nice. Okay, so let's see how this works.
We can reference Frisky Dingo, but not the Simpsons here? Come on.
No, Brian, you got to have it just between the lips. It's in your teeth. Yeah, the lips. There you go. Uh-oh. Oh, shit, no.
Brian's choking people. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Someone help Brian. Oh, God. No, I don't think. Is it confirmed that you can no longer open your mouth and talk?
No.
Man.
I think you know what. Now, wait. No, that's not the button we need right now, James.
Oh.
That's not how that works.
I do really like the half step down. Yeah. Good job, me. That was the end of Tribs. That's all the Tribs that I got.
That's great. Thanks for that, Tribs.
You
guys
welcome.
Want some candy?
Yeah, but we're not there.
Yeah, pass it through.
Wait, Sweetwater? When you said that the first time, I thought like, oh yeah, because sweet candy. And then I'm like, no, that's the audio place. Why do you have candy from the audio place?
When you buy stuff from them, they give you a little package of candy.
Oh, I don't think I ever got that. What the hell?
Did you buy anything that took big money?
I bought a lav mic once, so no, I guess not. They don't give you free candy and under $600.
I think Brian's just flexing on you right now.
Do you agree that if you got that candy was free, or did you pay whatever percentage of the payment for that candy? What's your stance on this, gentlemen?
You know what? I would like to say that I obviously paid for the candy.
Mm-hmm.
However, Sweetwater was slightly cheaper than Amazon.
Oh, so you saved and got the same amount for candy.
I mean, those ribbon mints, which are notoriously expensive. I imagine it's really breaking the bank for them.
But I mean, like, this is like, it's honestly like, it was a sealed package. Like, it's not like even a Ziploc bag. Like, there's some production that goes into this, so that's not cheap.
So did this episode have any cool light wraps?
We're talking about candy. Okay?
No, we're not.
Podcast.
The listener is not here. Well, I guess Dylan can tell us.
This is the Jump on the Candy Wagon podcast with Brian, James, and Dylan.
Really got Brian with that one.
Sweetwater, this very regional specific shop.
Our first sponsor. We've never had a sponsor before, but we finally got Sweetwater candy. It's just made of water and sugar. Sweet. Give me sugar in water. More. Sponsored by Tommy Lee Jones. Specifically.
I get that reference.
Yeah, thank you. Now someone on this podcast got another reference from somebody else.
Why don't you get a Frisky Dingo reference for once?
I should watch it. And there were no cool light wraps in this episode.
There were awkward headlights.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, the Batmobile had light beams for headlights. So you weren't excited about that? You weren't overjoyed?
No, I was more disturbed by the train's headlight, which was like a weird point. Did you see that?
No, I didn't notice at all.
I didn't either.
It didn't go this way from the train. It went this way. So it ended in a very sharp, not even like 45-degree point, but like an asymmetrical.
Oh.
Point.
No, I'll have to. I guess we got to watch the episode again. Are you gonna watch this episode every Christmas now, Brian?
Are we hanging out on Christmas?
I was going to say, yeah, that'll be the determining factor. if
There's at least one better Christmas episode in the DCAU he'll get to years from now.
At least all of them, yeah. I mean, I are there more than 2 other Christmas episodes in the DCAU?
The Justice League one is coming to my mind. There's a Static Shock one too, isn't there?
I guess, yeah, that does count. There's a new Batman Adventures episode that's the more like obvious one than Static.
Those
I
are
think, but yeah,
they're all better. These are all better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's so weird. Like I don't think it doesn't feel right to trash on Christmas with the Joker, but we do have to point out all the stupid things. So, such
it's
as
fun.
Batman's usefulness in this episode.
Batman's usefulness.
Some could say he was overuseful. I mean, he was ready for that almost crime that didn't even happen.
The almost got him, he said as he jumped down.
Okay, that's a fair point. He was really on it. He knew where the toy factory was. He did and like killed a massive robot.
He held up Joker with one arm and tackled 3 people out of the sky.
Yeah, he jumped across like a 40-foot tank, and in 3 people's weight didn't slam them into the side of the tank. Like their momentum going down should have been greater than his going sideways, wouldn't you say, Brian?
I would say, yeah.
He says, "No, that works. I'm not going to hit the button though. I've hit it enough for one day, maybe one more time." But the whole thing at the start with them going through the city, like sweeping the city for crime, made me think of like Gotham is like a pseudo stand-in for New York City. They scanned the entirety of like Manhattan multiple times, and Batman's like, "Oh man, I wish we could do just one more sweep of the city," implying that they'd done it like at least twice, 3 times, and everything. And then it's not even like what was the first time we saw a clock? Joker's like, "Oh, by midnight," and it was like 6:30 or something. It was like 10.
11. It was 11 on the dot.
But it was 11 multiple times in the episode.
Like 8-11 throughout the episode.
It also feels like Batman's, crusade of the city, wherever, he's really missing the important spots. He skipped a toy factory. He should be stopping at like every puzzle shop. He's got to go to like all the greenhouses.
Yeah,
he's got to go to anywhere there's a freezer.
Actually, that's a really good point. He didn't go to the toy factory. He didn't check that out, where there was obviously a lot of stuff going on.
The toy factory on Main Street.
Yeah,
on Street in Maine. Check the bridge where there's guys with a bucket of dynamite.
Yeah.
He didn't check the TV studio. He didn't check Arkham Asylum. What did he?
He didn't go to Rupert Murdoch's house. He didn't. Well, so what I was getting at here is that they've swept the city multiple times before 2 hours before midnight ish. And the entire giant New York City-sized city, and it's still dark outside when we first see them do this. So Batman has some sort of like temporal vortex that he can jump through. And what I'm saying is, if there's a Santa Claus, it's probably Batman. If there's anybody that can make it around the whole world to every child's house in one night, it's Batman, I think.
Wow.
And Robin.
Batman knows if you've been naughty. He knows if you've been nice.
He sees you when you're sleeping.
Oh my. Okay, so Batman's usefulness.
Yeah.
I think all things considered, he was very useful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give him 9.5 out of 10 tiny, giant flying airplane things.
Okay, well then I'm going to steal 8 out of 10 impossible to remove candy cane mouth guards.
I'll give him a full 10 sweaters with gloves out of sweaters with gloves guns.
Good shit. Yeah. Are we putting this on the top 10, boys? I don't think so, unfortunately.
Not mine.
No.
So, I mean, Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan.
I have so much room.
This is your number 1 right now. We'll just have the Dylan only top 10 for any time that he comes on again in the future, potentially, and just have like your number 2 is this, because it's the only way to do it.
Can I put this at 10 currently in case I can push it off immediately that way?
Brian is in the DCAU top 10 doc, officially adding a Dylan list.
Yeah.
Oh, you added in a number 11 to yours. You're cheating.
How did
I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah, put Christmas with Joker at a solid 11 for me.
Really? Yeah. Okay. And Dylan's top 10, Christmas with the Joker, is number 11. That's what he's writing.
It's also number 1 in my bottom 10.
I don't think this goes in the bottom 10 for me. And I think it has to be like didn't we decide it has to be a unanimous decision between the two of us that goes in there?
I wouldn't say
the three of us, James.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you were here.
Unless you meant just me and you, James.
Yeah, it is what
it's okay. Yeah.
Good save.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. The art was probably the biggest offender, though the story wasn't great, but it wasn't just laughably the worst thing ever. I'm not in pain from watching it.
Yeah, it was just campy and silly and whatever. Like it didn't feel like Batman the Animated Series, sort of, but it's I mean, maybe it did to you because you've watched so many stinkers. But who knows?
It's certainly been a thing, man.
There was someone that had commented last time being like, Batman the Animated Series, like at this point is like a mix of the worst thing you've ever seen and the best episode of television ever, or something like that. And I think that like we haven't even gotten to what I would consider like the best episodes of the show, and we just have this weird mix of like, oh please, like especially just this back-to-back production order stuff with Christmas with the Joker, where it is I can't remember what the actual third like I want to know now what would have come after this production wise.
Show you.
If we
while you look that up,
yeah.
I do feel like we've gotten through a lot of the worst episodes so far, though.
Yes, I would say that. Yeah. Maybe we haven't even gotten to the third produced episode yet. Oh, no, we must have. I think it was the first Scarecrow episode. Yeah. Nothing to fear. Yeah, the I am the tiger, I believe in God. So I guess that one wasn't amazing, but it was still better like produced than this one probably, and better written and whatever.
See, I love that episode. I give that episode a pass just because of that line.
Yeah, there are scenes in every bad Batman episode that are like still iconically good. Like well, maybe not the Underdwellers.
Tell me about the iconic Moon of the Wolf scene. Yeah,
it's when Batman says, "Do me a favor," and then half an hour later says, "Stay down."
We didn't talk about the line that I talked over in this episode.
Oh yeah, they don't call him Batman for nothing. Yeah, you said like, "Oh, bat," when he picked up a bat, and then I'm like, "Oh, you just wait," and then you just talked over the top of Robin's line.
Excited.
Yeah.
And then James was real disappointed.
Yeah, I was mad at Brian. That's like you get one shot at seeing these for the first time ever, and you fucked it all up.
We just get into a habit of talking over the course of the episodes.
Yeah,
I did watch. I made my wife watch like most of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited with me.
Same.
And there are times where like I know she's seeing it for the first time, and I'm looking over at her like, "Here it comes," and I just see no change in her face, and I'm like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah. I when I showed Jessica we watched the DCAU in a very strange order because I knew she wasn't like super interested in superhero stuff, so I was like, I'll show her Batman Beyond. I feel like that's like objectively the most like it's anime like it has barely any connection to like campy superhero stuff. It's a retro future, all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, she'll like this, and then I was like, oh, but if we're going to watch Batman Beyond, we really ought to watch like these 3 Batman episodes. And I made her watch those first to get like context, but she was so disinterested, just going like, do we have to, like, why do we have to? And I was like, please, no, you just need to watch this and it'll make sense in 50 episodes. But yeah, you know.
Well, that's what I was doing too. I'm like watching one episode of Justice League and I'm like, this will come back for their relationship 35 episodes from now.
Yeah.
Notice this.
Yeah, please remember that. That's my worst fear with Brian with these things is like, we've already experienced a handful of episodes that'll be like extremely important to continuity, like 6 shows from now. and I'll just be like, oh God, is he going to remember this? Probably not. And then I'll have to remind you and you'll be like, sure, that happened.
What you're going to have to do eventually is Brian's going to watch like a Justice League Unlimited episode and you're going to be like, and next week, We go back to Batman the Animated Series, episode 33.
Yeah, we'll just do a refresher. Why are we watching Moon of the Wolf again? Oh, I promise. Which actually is one of them, Brian.
I think I remember you mentioning that. Yeah. Did you want to not say Giselle's name on the podcast, Dylan?
Yeah, you can say it. I think it's fine.
It's pronounced...
Okay. Should I shout at her?
Jizzle.
Yeah, she was like, why'd they say my name wrong? I was like, I believe it was intentional. I was like, I'm pretty sure they've heard this name at some point.
How much of the DCAU has Giselle seen?
I'd say like 80% of Justice League. There were some episodes where I was like, she doesn't need to see like War World. That title won't mean anything to you.
I also skipped half of Justice League when I showed my sister Justice League. Anyway.
I was like, you're going to get super emotional for Starcross. And she was like, it's good. It's good. I'm like, you're just doing this for me. But I made her watch like every single episode of Justice League Unlimited. And there were a couple that she was like, oh, I really like this one.
All right. Are we going to have her on the podcast at some point?
Yeah, just her. No.
Yeah, once you make me, full third-time podcast host, then I'll bring Giselle in for an episode,
Where's she tonight? Is she hanging out over there?
I think she's like in the living room right now.
Oh my god!
Can you?
She was like, "You're doing that thing, okay?"
Can you shout "Yo Jizzle" and let me know what she says?
Jizzle. No, she can't hear me.
I feel like I would still hear that and think you said it correctly through a closet door. But
the closet door and the bedroom door are both shut. I am very much sealed in.
Jizzle.
Well, because I was also
right.
James was like, all right, just make sure you're somewhere where there won't be too much sound. And at the same time, I was like, oh shit, I'm doing laundry right now.
Why did I start
I was like,
laundry?
That's the opposite of less sound.
The washer and dryer are in the closet with me.
Which normally when I'm recording myself in the living room, I'm like, okay, make sure, the laundry's done. Turn off the AC. And then James was like, you sound kind of echoey in our chat. And I was like, and I do all this for nothing.
You're just in a giant room.
Oh man, I know that the whole like dealing with sound on a podcast thing it's a little bit trickier, especially like I have, Dylan, I'm sure you can kind of see here, I've got a very low roof in here and it's just metal. It's like a tin roof over the top of that, and it's Oregon, so it rains all the time, and man, it just like it gets real bad in here at some points.
Yeah, are you in like a shed?
Yeah,
nearly. I'll give you the whole story later.
Oh,
yeah, the listener really wants to hear about this as well. I think it's time for some Mail Time. Dylan sings it this time.
That yacht had one small extra yacht put it over.
Here's the mail, I know the words, it's something in, it goes like this. Here's the mail, and I want to say mail.
Very nice.
Almost looked ridiculous there.
Good thing you did, yeah. I like how you started late because of the delay, but then you sang it like twice as fast as the actual song, so you caught up by the end, and it was fine.
Oh, I thought I ended early, too. That's okay.
We have a couple of one actual email and then the voice messages. So I'll read the email first. This is from Tim R., who I believe has commented on a video or
Tim Robbins listens to our podcast.
Tim Roth, the actor from The Incredible Hulk. Greetings,
famously
James.
Only in The Incredible Hulk is the Abomination and nothing else.
Yeah, he was never in any other movie. Random Christmas with the Joker observations. Greeting, James and brother Broderick. I don't know why he didn't say hi to you, Dylan, but he must not like you, I guess. Yeah. Longtime listener, longtime lurker, who recently promised James I'd be more active engaging with the podcast and overall Watchtower database community. Hence this email. Christmas with the Joker is a paradoxical episode, in my opinion, in that it stands out for being unremarkable. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. I can tell it was early in the production timeline as they seem to be still figuring out their footing. It's one of the sillier episodes as a consequence, with leaps in logic and suspension and disbelief. I assume Joker planned all year for this scheme and had it set up ahead of time, but it's surprisingly elaborate. The Joker somehow smuggled a rocket into Arkham, disguised as a tree, as Dylan pointed out. He somehow converted an observatory telescope into a cannon. Did you write this email, Dylan?
Tim and I are in sync. He didn't know I was going to be here, but me and Tim are right there.
I mean, he is you in a past life, right? So he got his hands on a tank and added a Santa Claus to it. We forgot to bring up Brian. You said that Santa looked like it was out of Invader Zim, and I never thought of it that way. It totally does. It just like
Here's him. Somebody go find that. Yeah. Or James, you can include that in the thumbnail.
Yeah, it almost looks like the Santa design from Invader Zim. Like its eyes are pointing the wrong way and stuff. Yeah,
it has no eyes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It also made me think of, and this might be my contribution to the quotes from things that nobody else knows, but in the Tim Allen movie, The Santa Claus, they're going over the toy companies going over their like plans for the Christmas season. And he's like, oh, like sleighs are so out of style. Like this year Santa's going, and he removes the thing and shows a drawing of Santa in a tank. Santa's going total tank. And it's just like that's what he's doing at the start of this episode too. Did we notice also that that rockets off into the sky and fireworks spell out Christmas with the Joker, but it's not the same title card as the actual episode? They just have the title card twice, two different ways. Yeah. That's a cool thing. Tim continues. He got customized machine guns firing robots in his image. Custom cardboard cutouts of random Gotham citizens. He spent all this money, all that meticulous planning, and he didn't really care about blowing things up and causing random death and terror. It was all just incidental, an elaborate way to lure Batman to him so that he could pie Batman in the face. It's ridiculous even by Joker standards, yet for that reason alone I can't help but love it. If I may propose a meta Grant Morrison-esque theory, which I don't truly believe, perhaps the entire scheme was a delusion all in Joker's head. Maybe he was straitjacketed in his cell the entire time, like in the final scene, and just imagined the whole thing. That's all I got for this one, I think. It's not a terribly deep episode. One final random observation is that rather than a normal television, or even that projection screen he watched Grey Ghost reruns on, Bruce apparently has a home theater with a TV taking up the whole wall. He's a billionaire, so this doesn't surprise me. You know it's cutting edge, though, as it seems to have Technicolor, whereas every other TV so far is black and white. Insert winky emoji here. Anyway, love the podcast and all things DCAU/Watchtower Database. Being born in 1994, I believe I'm about the same age as James. I'm 3 years older than you. Brian is 30 years older than you. Happy belated birthday. Thank you. So the shows all have a special place in my heart, literally growing up on them. I remember the WB episodes and catching reruns that way, but seeing many of these Fox-era episodes on Cartoon Network. There were Toonami promos narrated by Optimus Prime himself, Peter Cullen. I know he did them for Batman Beyond and Superman as well, but the overall mood and aesthetic of the BTAS one just hooked my tiny child self. I never stood a chance, and there was no going back. Tim R. P.S. Don't mistake the absence of a reservation on an episode for disinterest, but I feel like I need to be a more frequent emailer and establish a rapport with y'all before I request a guest spot on any future episode. It would be rude of me to do so first email out of the gate. Yeah, Dylan.
Don't worry. What? Don't you worry, Tim. Once I take control, I'll have you on as a guest. Don't you worry.
This is just step one, yeah.
I will also say, Tim, I know you can't see Brian, but if you've ever seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, that guy who drinks from the wrong Holy Grail and like just ages super quick, that's kind of what he looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can tell
Brian shows poorly.
More and more quickly.
Yeah. Thank you.
I will also say, he brought up those machine guns. Those machine guns are intricate enough to aim and turn, but not to actually hit anything.
No. Yeah. They're stormtrooper robots.
Well, not to say they didn't hit anything. They hit the other machine gunners.
That's true.
Somehow they didn't program those like, those like coordinates. So like, okay, don't fire if you're pointing at another one.
Right.
They just fire and take out each other.
Yeah,
they were dealing with interference from the device that takes over all channels.
Oh, of course, that makes sense.
And interference from Joker's pulling of levers that are somehow Wi-Fi attached to the giant robots.
That's where they got the idea from Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah. This is from Keen Machine. Happy Holiday, James and Brian. Keenly yours, Keen Machine. Yeah, and Dylan. Why is that? I don't know why I forgot Dylan.
Greetings, Yoppie Dudes! I hope you're listening, Brian and James. This one's for you.
And Dylan.
Well done on finally making it to episode 2 of Batman the Animated Series. Took a while, but you did it. This is perhaps not one of the quote-unquote best crafted episodes of the series, but certainly a beloved one. Besides, I think this story reminds us of a very important message. The holidays aren't about flashy TV specials or getting the latest Betty Blooper doll. No, they're about people spending time together. Even if you have to tie him up and threaten him with a pit of acid. I hope this Holly May season you find comfort in knowing that candy canes make excellent noise reduction devices. Until next week, keep it keen.
P.S. I would like to formally throw my hat into the ring to be a guest for The Laughing Fish, as it is my favorite BTAS episode, and or a certain Batman Beyond film, the title of which I will not say to avoid spoilers, as it is my favorite film in the DCAU. That is all.
I'm sorry.
We now return to your regularly scheduled yapping.
Would you apologize?
I have claimed that film and all future episodes.
Yeah, whoopsie.
Laughing. What was that
The
called?
Laughing Fish.
The Laughing Fish.
Yeah. Keen Machine. The Laughing Fish / Batman Beyond movie. Now, you must be referring to Batman Beyond the movie, which was a direct-to-video release of the first 2 episodes of Batman Beyond as a fake movie. I'm going to go with that, and even though I know that's not what you're talking about.
There's no other possible movie to refer to.
I don't know what that's true. Even though I've said it like 6 different times on this podcast, and it hasn't tipped Brian off at all, but it's okay.
Crisis on 2/Infinite.
No,
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's weird to be not a part of an inside joke that so many people know about.
It's not even really a joke. It's just like, the plot of
just make a Frisky Dingo reference.
Yeah, bobbity boom, ready go.
Master Cylinder.
Perfect.
See, we don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know. This is from Jordan Blumen on Anchor. Okay.
You've been listening to Driving Home with Jimmy and the Brick. Now welcome to GCN, Gotham City News with Jack Ryder. Our top story tonight, Jordan Blumen returns to the Jump on the Bat-Wagon podcast.
Welcome back.
Hey Jack, thanks so much for having me tonight. I'm just kidding. That was me. I was Jack Ryder the whole time. Hello, Bruce and the Jazzman. I'm back, and I'm feeling much better. Thank you so much for your kind words. First order of business. Dylan, your question.
Oh, shit.
I haven't been on a plane in like 12 years, so I actually can't remember what I like or dislike about flying, and I'm sorry, I don't have a more exciting answer for you. Regarding Christmas with the Joker, I'm so happy they finally did the baseball Batman pun that all of my friends would make on the middle school schoolyard.
That Brian talked to.
Coming up next, the Musical Minute.
Yeah, bring it. Or unless, Dylan, you have a response.
Not George's bringing the production value. I appreciate it.
Yeah. This mic's much better than mine.
Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, or midnight. You're listening to Jordan's Musical Minute on the Jump on the Bat-Wagon podcast.
Nice.
So first things first, I love me a Christmas special, and I can't think of many things cooler than a Batman fight scene scored with Shirley Walker's medley of songs from the Nutcracker. I thought that was pretty cool. I also love in this episode that we get another little special rendition on the Joker leitmotif, kind of like with our late night talk show jazz rendition of it in Almost Got 'Em, but this time patterned after one of those cheesy 70s dating game shows. Also, just a fun thing that I noticed at the very end of the episode, we do get to see Batman and Robin watching It's a Wonderful Life, and we drop in on them at the credits, but that is definitely not the actual credits from It's a Wonderful Life. That's just some standard fanfare. It's a Wonderful Life should be playing Auld Lang Syne.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Nice.
Musical Minute.
I like that. That's a good addition.
Yeah, we got the Dylan Pollack hour. We got the Jordan Blumen's Musical Minute. We should get this
Dylan
Jordan
Pollack hour.
Yeah. Well, it's been way over an hour at this point. We should have had the Jordan Blumen should have been on the show way before you, I think. Right?
Well, too late.
This is from Scarface Nate. It's untitled, but the second one is called Christmas with the Joker Part 2. Forgot to title my first one LOL, so we can just pretend on this first one.
Sweet.
Hello, Big Boy and Jim Jam. Here are my thoughts on Christmas with the Joker, since there's nothing really to talk about with Terror in the Sky. This episode is a lot of fun, and it's one of my favorite episodes to watch during the holiday seasons. It's also a good way to get into BTAS, since it's like the second episode produced and like the 30th to air, which is absolutely wild to me. Batman being a Scrooge in this episode is kind of unintentionally hilarious to me. Like, I know how they always portray Batman as like this grumpy grouch and this Scrooge, like the sourpuss in the holiday episodes, which is fitting, I guess. But, I don't know, this one just seems unintentionally hilarious to me, especially when Robin's like, oh, come on, we can watch It's a Wonderful Life. And Bruce is like, I could never get past the title. I don't know. Just lines like those throughout this episode is unintentionally hilarious to me. Lines like those will probably give you guys a lot to nitpick and talk about and make jokes of, which I'm sure you guys will do, and that'll be exciting to watch.
I got cut off. Yeah, you watch the podcast? I always say to make sure to watch the podcast. Brian's called me out on that before, so I have to reciprocate.
If you're on YouTube, then you are like...
You're watching it, picture.
I am watching it on YouTube, technically,
Yeah. Dylan, what service do you... I mean, obviously you're commenting on the YouTube. Is that where you, like, listen to it?
I do. I am mainly YouTube. I honestly, like, I use YouTube all day while I'm working. Don't tell work. Work, don't listen to this.
Work, go away, work.
Shh. I usually end up playing things on double speed, and I just listen.
Really?
Not you guys. You guys are playing half speed. I need more time.
Well, when you listen back to this...
See, this sounds right.
Oh, okay. Do you have YouTube Premium or whatever, where it's just in your pocket, like with the phone off, or do you just...
Does anyone have YouTube Premium,
No,
James?
that's a good point. This is the second Scarface.
Hello, Big Boy and Jim Jam. Here's part 2 of my thoughts on Christmas with the Joker. Joker in this episode is an absolute riot. And maybe because this is like his first time as the Joker, Mark Hamill was experimenting, because he feels very different from the rest of his DCAU appearances. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but
it's not
Joker feels a lot more campy and a lot more hilarious, I guess. I don't know, he just feels very different to me. I don't know if you guys feel it too, but maybe it's just me. No, anyway, speaking of, the Kids WB had a Kooky Carol Fest, which I guess is like a series of bumpers and commercials for like the holiday specials of the shows they aired. And one of them is a continuation, or I guess an extended version, of Joker's version of Jingle Bells. This is definitely something you should listen to if you haven't already, or maybe take a chance and listen to. I don't know, just something interesting I thought I'd share with you. Keep being yappy, guys. Bye.
That's the best advice anyone's given. Keep, being yappy or whatever.
Yappy. Dylan, keep being yappy.
I can't stop.
I am always
My doctors
yappy.
have told me I have a limited time left to yap.
I'm going to see if I can find this Joker Kooky Carol. I remember this happening. Oh, you get to hear the ad. This is the ad for Hotels.com. Travel booking.
And Big Choir singing timeless caroling classics like
We flush you a Merry Christmas. Oh, M.I.B. Oh, M.I.B. Please don't you neuralize me.
And my favorite, Jingle Bells, Batman Smells.
I hate that song. And many more. Also featuring special festive shows all morning long, including 3 episodes of...
Maybe there's more than that, but that doesn't feel extended to me.
I'm just saying, James, we wouldn't have had to have heard that ad if you had YouTube Premium.
Thank you. Good job. Then we have a couple from this Dylan Pollack. Who? It says, now open your present. So here we go, I guess.
Hey, guys. Thoughts of the week from Dylan Pollack. I just want to say, this episode that you're doing currently has just been the greatest. Whatever you're doing different this episode, keep it going because I'm loving the way it's sounding. Oh, and also, I have a question of the week for you.
Oh,
because those are very few thoughts that I have. I just didn't have much to say this week. The question of the week is, What holiday, besides Christmas, would you want to spend with another Batman villain? Let me know.
I mean, I don't want to spend any holidays with any villains, but if I had, I would like to spend Father's Day with Darkseid.
I did not think of that answer.
You know, I just feel like he'd really get into the spirit of being a dad to so many different characters, and some adopted. So,
can we just acknowledge that guy had a great voice?
He really did. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking more like Valentine's Day with the Mad Hatter.
like he spent with Alice or whatever.
Yeah. Obviously, Earth Day with Poison Ivy.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Purim with Harley Quinn.
Like somehow you had all these answers for this already.
I don't know. I just vibe with that guy.
He just is a good sounding guy.
I'm trying to think of like who would be the most fun at St. Patrick's Day. I'm kind of thinking it'd be Killer Croc.
Because he would throw a shamrock at him. You're welcome. I took off the sound to make room for the cupcake. Invader Zim. This is more comments on Terror in the Sky or Our New Man-Bat's a Woman. I went with that title despite we didn't actually choose that title, but out of respect for the listener, multiple people had said Our New Man-Bat's a Woman, and we decided, yeah, okay, we'll change it to that. Yeah, so this is from Kevin Ranke. Listeners combined to give the biggest birthday hug ever to the Yoppie couple. Jamie, when 900 years old you reach, look as good as Brian. You will not. Thanks so much for the Instagram support, guys. What an honor. I wanted to shield Brian's ancient virgin DCAU eyes from a character design spoilers on my customs page, but he's certainly welcome anytime. I saw that you did follow Ranky Arts or whatever, but not customs. So good job. Good. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Mike the Chicago Critic says, "Sup, guys."
Sup? Man, you're just a critic of Chicago in general, or
maybe he's from Chicago and is a critic of the name Mike.
Maybe he just is a critic of that Broadway play.
Just Chicago. I really love Book of Mormon and Hamilton and all that other stuff. Chicago could go fuck itself. I guess it doesn't necessarily.
Had it coming.
Yeah. Cole Papadakis, if you want to get into Clone Wars, I recommend going season 4 onward. At that point, it starts getting into darker themes and stories focusing on stuff like slavery, criminal elements during war times, and the clones aren't just droids, but they're living, breathing beings that deserve to be treated better than droids. I recommend at least watching the Umbara arc. Umbara. It's really good. Happy birthday, Jessica. Yeah, Maddie and I were even having like a Twitter back and forth a little bit the other day of like it's just so hard to get into Clone Wars. I don't want to start on season 4. I want to watch all of it, but it's just I can't do it. I don't know. Maybe someday.
I don't know, James. Slavery and criminal elements during wartime sounds like fun. Don't take that out of context.
I was about to say I love, and then I was like, someone will clip that, and I'm not gonna do that. Newman Studios. This is Jordan Blumen. I just realized Christmas with the Joker was not technically composed by Shirley Walker, but Michael McQuistion and Lolita Ritmanis. So we've got them to thank for the delightful Nutcracker medley. Oh, so I guess we're not gonna have an accurate Jordan's musical minute or whatever for anymore. Just never do that again. Yeah,
but yeah, I was wondering about that. But also, I was a little let down because I've been really quite a fan of everything else that Lolita Ritmanis has done. And this one, I felt like
maybe it was. I mean,
fitting, but it wasn't spectacular.
The two of them are part of the like recurring composers going forward, like the ones that stuck around or whatever. Maybe it's just another result of this being episode 2 or whatever, but learning. Charles Motosierra, Joker smuggling a functional rocket engine into Arkham makes no sense, and I love it. Yoppie birthday, Jessica. It does say James and Jessica, but I'm continuing the meme. Maddie, I'm so fucking glad you recapped the Man-Bat stuff. A+. Thank you. You're welcome. Yo, Xavier Renegade Angel fucking owns. I call that episode. that was one of the Adult Swim shows that people recommended that we watched, and we had never heard of it. But then I looked it up, and I do recognize it's a very strange looking CGI like monster character. Anyway, I'll have to figure it out at some point. We should get Brian to watch the entire DC animated multiverse. That's just part of this podcast, and we had to start all the way back at Super Friends. We're gonna pause right here. We'll come back to it.
Oh God, no!
I don't think a human can live long enough to watch all of it," said Scarloey. I'm sure someone has at this point. You've had to grow up with it, probably. Maddie also says, "I also want to be on Batman and Harley Quinn and think it should get the Guinness World Record for most guests on a single podcast episode." Okay, yeah, I'll do plus Maddie. We'll just make that a chaotic, terrible episode of the podcast to listen to for anybody.
I guess what we could do is do like a Zoom call, bring everybody in, but then as the admin have everybody muted and then wait for the raised hand thing, and we can pull people in individually.
Or we just have everyone talk over the top of each other and through each other for about
yes, let's do that.
Yeah, for about 30 seconds, and then I just go, "Oh, something happened," and I kick 90% of the people out of the call.
And that'll be just the three of us, right?
Right. Yeah. Cooney Phoenix. LMAO. The first thing I said to myself when I saw the notification for this was literally, "Our new Man-Bat's a woman." So I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I wasn't alone, and other people made that joke too. Also, y'all are going to watch Christmas with the Joker, a classic. I have 3 things to say about this episode. I will forever remember this one as the one with an actual bat pun, like the scene when he specifically uses a baseball bat, because he's Bat-Man. And if that was unintentional detail, then this scene is now even more amusing. I mean, yeah, I think that was the joke. Cooney Phoenix. Also, the Christmas tree rocket thing. There are so many ways that shouldn't have worked, and yet confusion deepens. I guess when the Joker's involved, there will never be explanations that make sense. At least it was kind of funny as a way to begin the episode, and abrupt. If I made a list of my top 5 favorite singular tracks from all the volumes of the BTAS soundtrack, the one with the train crashes, would be number 2. And then with Gothman from the Air / Rydom Batman / Epilogue. That's the full title, I think, as number 1. It's so full of energy and really makes you think the steady, powerful, heavy, and fast movement of a train. It's very interesting. Anyways, sorry this is so long. Fun podcast episode as always. Definitely worth the extra wait. And also, happy belated birthday, Jessica. I'm adding Jessica. Oh my God damn it. In terms of pronunciation, MAZ was slightly off, but rest of it was perfect. You could keep using that version. I won't send audio messages because English is not my native language and I don't trust my pronunciation skills enough. That's one of the reasons I have trouble with pronouncing my own name for 992. Okay, well, if you can't even do it, I'm not going to even try. I'm just going to say that guy every time we get to you. Maybe if I improve my pronunciation enough, I will start sending audio messages on later podcast episodes, but I don't think that'll happen. That's fine. That's okay. We'll just call you KM. How about that? Does that work? Just initials? What do you think, Dylan? KM?
I'm hearing it won't.
Oh, okay. I'm getting from the producer that KM is not going to work out at all.
I've heard from him, and he wants his middle name in there too now.
Oh, damn it. I will continue the trivia for Terror in the Sky. Pat Music, flight attendant in this episode, is mother of another prominent voice actor, Mae Whitman. She is famous for voicing Tinkerbell in most Disney Tinkerbell movies. Little Susie in Johnny Bravo. Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Wonder Girl from Young Justice. April O'Neil in 2012 TMNT. And Amity Blight from Owl House. I am sure that you saw at least one of those. I've seen all of those. They will appear together on a later DCAU episode. Okay. James forgot to say that one of Peter Renaday's most important roles is that he is Abraham Lincoln in the Pixar movie Soul. I missed an Abraham Lincoln. I'm sorry.
Is that for real?
I guess. So he isn't Abraham Lincoln in every cartoon. He voiced him 5 times, and Will Forte voiced Abraham Lincoln 5 times too. But Will Forte voiced him more because he is Abraham Lincoln in Clone High, and Abraham Lincoln's the main character of that show. I think I've seen screenshots of this and stuff.
Amazing.
So add it to my list of shows Brian likes and I have never seen.
Yep.
I don't like Christmas with the Joker. It's one of my least favorite Joker episodes, and there are people who love it. I personally don't like 3 Joker episodes, and the first 3 Joker episodes in production order. Yeah, I mean, they're probably the worst episodes. Joker episodes start becoming great after Joker's Favor. That means all Joker episodes from now on are great. Some of them will make into your top 10 for sure. I have a question for the rankings. When you watch a DCAU related movie, except Dude, Where's My Batmobile, will you put it on the top 10? How will you compare a 90-minute movie to a 20-minute episode? Will you make a new list for movies? I'm not sure there are 10 DCAU related movies. I'll answer that. Yeah, we're going to do a separate movies list, and I guess it'll be a top 10, but it will only make it to like 6 or whatever.
I also, and I'm going to get on my soapbox here, because we know I'm normally so quiet and not willing to say anything.
Of course, yeah.
I think the 2-parter should count as one thing. I'm just saying.
So we're going to do that when they aired on the same day. As we're airing that, we're doing it by one. Oh, okay. So you're talking about like for the top 10 list,
Feet
not
of Clay.
Yes.
Feet of Clay Part 2 as one entity.
Two-Face should count as one thing. Feet of Clay should count as one thing.
Well, it's a good thing that you're not a permanent host of this podcast.
Anyway. Should we James on the podcast? We can just take over, I think.
Yeah. Technically, you can at any time. I have no control. Also, some 2 or 3 part episodes like Last Son of Krypton or Little Girl Lost aired as a TV movie. All parts aired the same day. Will you count those as separate episodes, one long episode or one movie? There'll be episodes, but like I just said, anything that airs on the same day, I don't think we're gonna count them. I don't know. I know we'll do them as one podcast episode, but I don't know if we'll count them as separate episodes for the top 10 or if they'll be the same. We haven't gotten to that yet. We have to make the decision later. But
anything that airs on the same day. So, Brian, what did you think of this week's In Living Color episode as well?
It's on the top 10.
Arguably better than this episode of BTAS.
If it didn't take too long, I would look up like exactly what episode of In Living Color aired on the same day.
The crowd reaction is very positive for this episode too. That person's the only person to be like, I don't like this Joker episode.
That's true, yeah. So far. Also, will you watch it on the same day if you're going by airing days? Yes. I personally put 2-parters and 3-parters as one episode on my top 10s. I don't like saying I like this part of the story more than this part. We would if it didn't, like for specifically like Cat in the Claw fucked that up right at the start. Is they're airing like so. I'm not gonna make Brian remember 6 episodes ago. But yeah.
This is why the air date order is controversial.
It is so controversial. Nick Sorensen didn't know that James and Jessica both share the same birthday as one another. Happy birthday to the both of you. Thank you. I could tell how much work had to have gone into that big multiverse video, considering all the different versions of James and Maddie that had to be edited together and filmed at different times. Ever seen that classic episode of The Muppet Show where pre-Joker Mark Hamill was the guest star appearing right next to himself in the role of Luke Skywalker? It's pretty mind-boggling how they could achieve something like that so effectively even back then, just through pure old-school filming trickery. And yes, Brian, there's obviously a way you can connect Mickey Mouse to the DCAU with the DC's connection to Looney Tunes via corporate ownership and their connection with Disney's characters and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I should have fucking said that. I should have known that immediately. I'm a failure. I don't get to be part of the podcast anymore. Dylan's the new host.
Wait, what in the DC in Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Because I love that movie.
So the DCAU multiverse connects to Looney Tunes. And then Looney Tunes are in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Both the Looney Tunes have had DC characters in them, and the DC characters have watched Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
But Mickey Mouse isn't Looney Tunes.
No, but he's in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
And so are the Looney Tunes.
Oh, he is in Who Framed...
It's Disney and Warner Brothers combined, yeah.
Okay.
It's a good movie. I should watch that movie again.
I would like to watch that movie with you.
Okay. I was curious to see what Brian's reception would be on the direct follow-up to On Leather Wings, considering how low on the list it's been for him. Sounds like he's just not too big of a fan of the Man-Bat-centric episodes of the series. Definitely looking forward to the next episode.
Well, you see, I don't like men and I don't like bats.
It all adds up. Ashley Tutchin, happy birthday, Jessa James. You're welcome for the new couple name. I'll be expecting royalties. My birthday was last week, the 11th of May. Happy birthday. Coincidentally, I had turned 30 just a few months before BTAS. Oh, you turned 30 months before the start of BTAS, huh? So you are a little bit younger than Brian. If I remember correctly, this isn't the only time we get to see animal-human hybrid bosoms in the DCAU. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a certain Wonder Woman villain who appears in Justice League who should pique Brick's interest. Then there's also a certain JLU member who has fire bosoms, so you've got plenty to look forward to, Brother Boobrick. Don't ask me why. Oh, don't ask me why I have a photographic memory for not quite human bosoms of the DCAU. It's both a blessing and a curse. Also, I want to throw my hat in the ring and request to be a special guest for every episode of the Zeta Project. I loved that show growing up, and it looks like it's up to me to defend it. By the time you get around to covering it, the episodes will probably be set in the present day. It could be.
What's the Zeta Project?
I don't know. Banana Man says, okay. Again. Scarloey 1, great episode. Jamio and Brewster. P.S. Happy late birthday, Jessica. Kate Tastic, dear Sir Pollack. It has been a long while since I've been up in the sky, but I remember my least favorite part being adjusting my ears to the altitude. Oh, you replied to that already, so you're aware of this.
Another good reason flying is bad.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that what I said?
No, yeah, that's bad too. Flying's bad. Traveling is good, and flying is sometimes a necessity of that, but flying is garbage. Enough said is what you said. Wise words. Whoever that the Pill and Dalek guy.
You should have that guy on the next episode of the podcast.
That makes sense.
Kate-tastic?
Yeah, Kate-tastic. Continuing,
dang it.
I watched the multiverse video and all I got was a sense of enjoyment. Oh Lord, the voice message audio was even worse than I remembered it being. To be fair to me, I had never recorded my voice before and I was using half-working earphones to record. All you missed was a comment on the thematically relevant Gotham Coliseum and a joke about estrogen. Joke is in quotations. Maybe it was best. Yeah, you should see, but we'll listen to it if it's better than your 1D recording that you sent in before. It's 1D. All good though. Not everybody has a soundboard. 20th and happy late birthday to the Double J's. Jarlid 97. Don't worry, James. I completely understand not making past the mid-season of Clone Wars first season, although I do wonder what episode was the straw that broke the camel's back. Was it the R2 gets replaced by an obviously evil counterpart arc, aka the Sewer King episode, The Clone Wars? Or was it perhaps the German alien scientist trying to give everybody space COVID arc, aka the other Sewer King episode of The Clone Wars? Or perhaps one of the other string of bad episodes that make up the bulk of that season. I didn't even get far enough to know what either of those are. So no, it was everything before that. Anyway, to comment on the actual episode, what is it with animal hybrids in the DCAU? I don't even have to get into spoilers. There's just so many episode plots that revolve around this idea. We've already had like 4 of them if you count Killer Croc, and it's not even halfway through BTS. That's like 10 to 13% of the show so far. If this continues at this rate, that means there will be roughly 40 to 52 episodes of the whole DCAU that focus on animal hybrids. It would be interesting to see what the actual percentage is. Was there just a furry on production staff who let this happen? I don't know. We'll never know. I'll ask Dan Reba if he is a furry. Super Theories. Happy birthday, James. Thank you. James Royster. After much debate, I've decided the episode I want to call Dibs on Static Shock's Jimmy. I don't even want to actually appear on the show. I just want to deny it to someone else.
Dylan, they're coming for you.
No episode shall be denied to me.
Lanola Cola. Almost thought you didn't upload a podcast last week, but to avoid bad luck. Oh, it was Friday the 13th. We didn't. I think you pointed that out yourself, or someone did, but I was like, no, it's not. And then I looked, and it was. Was it a bad day for you?
Yeah. There was just a lot of like kind of bad chaos that was going on that day.
Cool. Do you think you put that into the universe by knowing it was Friday the 13th, like what's that called, the medicine, when you give you a medicine that's not real medicine, you know what I'm saying?
A placebo.
Sometimes brain don't work so hot, so do you think you made that a thing, or was it going to be anyway? It was going to be bad.
I'm definitely that powerful. I'm powerful enough to control the universe, yes.
Nice. Okay,
these are gazebos.
Yeah. Also, happy birthday. Thank you. Also, I have to unfortunately break Brian's heart with the origin of my username, Lanola Cola. It's just a name I made while setting up an Xbox Live account and has subsequently been my gamer tag on console and PC. I originally wanted Lanola, but that was already taken. I didn't even learn that NOLA was a nickname for New Orleans until I visited the Big Easy in 2018. And out of all the places you named and speculating the meaning behind my name, NOLA was the only one I visited. Haven't been to Colorado or Los Angeles, but I have been to San Francisco. Sorry for the info dump. Stay Yoppie.
Amazing.
Dylan,
I had a cola yesterday and thought about it again.
You had a cola? Yeah. Me too. I had a cream soda earlier, and I thought, oh, Lanola Cola. And then I drank it, and it was good.
Sick.
I deny what they are saying. It is now canon that they are from Louisiana, New Orleans, Los Angeles.
Yeah, etc. Dylan
Pollack County.
Dylan Pollack says, thank
you.
Who? You, I think. Thank you, Keen Machine and the listener, for the Rising Star comment and for seeing what Brian and James fail to. Also, happy birthday, Jessica. Perhaps at some point they'll realize Dylan needs to be in for the entirety of the episode. I don't think that'll ever happen, so sorry, Dylan.
And happy ending, and then they did.
Sorry for the info dump. Stay happy.
And they all podcasted happily ever after.
Aussie Dragoon, I can't believe you missed the opportunity to call the creature Franbat. Also, on the upcoming episode, I've watched Christmas with the Joker multiple times during my annual Christmas cartoon episode reruns. We all have one, don't lie. And what's your Christmas cartoon go-to holiday special, Brian? Do you watch a Christmas cartoon on Christmas? Do you give a shit about Christmas? You got this look. Yeah.
No.
Do you do an anti-Christmas like you do anti-Thanksgiving or whatever?
Any movie? A Christmas Story? The Grinch?
A Christmas Story is my family's, that's our Christmas movie. So if anything, that. But I don't always watch it every Christmas.
What's your Christmas thing, Dylan? Your pick?
I feel like The Grinch, but probably the live action one more often. Not because I like it better. My wife does.
Oh.
Oh, if it's going to be a DCAU thing, probably Comfort and Joy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my family's thing is to watch The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. That's why I knew the Total Tank line, because the best part of that is that there's a part where he fucks up the dinner at the start and they go to Denny's and the kid orders chocolate milk. I think I've told Brian this story. The kid orders chocolate milk. Yeah, and the waitress is like, "We're out," or she's Canadian, so she goes, "We're out," and he's like, "Plain milk's fine." And my dad, for some reason, thought the line was "regular milk's fine," and we would constantly, "It's not regular, it's plain." I don't know why you always think it's regular. So then had come up so many times. So then that upcoming Christmas, I edited the movie so that the kid says regular instead of plain. I recorded myself saying regular. I took bits from the background audio of the restaurant so that there was a foundation behind. I mixed it all perfectly. And then that we're playing a drinking game during this particular watch through. So we're all super drunk, and it gets to that part, and we're all like my mom wasn't in on it, but my sister was, and so we're recording my dad's reaction, and there's absolutely no reaction. The scene goes by, and then 2 minutes later, he's just like, "Wait a second, you assholes!" He's so upset about it. It was regular. So then he had to just continue to tell everybody about and this piece of shit edited the movie. It's the best thing. now I'm gaslighting him every time that we watch the movie. Well, what did I change this time?
That's a lot of editing skills for evil.
Yeah, that's why I learned how to do it.
This is what he does.
I gotta use the skills for something. Aussie Dragoon continues, "Et tu, Brutus? Bragging about your massive femurs? I'm sorry we can't all be blessed with plane disrupting heights."
Yeah, aren't you guys each can you guys also Batman dunk? Can you both dunk
yeah,
Batman?
we can dunk a head off a robot. Yeah. I've done it multiple times. Scotty Cameron, I actually watched this episode before the podcast episode dropped because I vaguely remembered it. I only remembered Woman Bat or She Bat and nothing else about the episode. It's strange that they introduced Woman Bat before Batwoman, but we really missed out on a Batman and Batwoman versus Man Bat and Woman Bat in BTAS. Oh well. Oh boy, Christmas with the Joker. Now that's an episode where production date and the air date were spread very far apart. It also happens to be an ACOM episode. You'll have 2 more ACOM episodes after it, another Joker episode, and a Riddler episode. Speaking of ACOM Joker episodes, the first episode of the podcast I listened to was The Joker's Taco Barge. I had seen it scrolling in Twitter and felt nostalgic and gave it a listen and have been a loyal listener ever since, and I went back and listened to every episode before it. Thank you.
That's awesome.
You
Did
should.
the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, always.
Okay, picking up listeners from Twitter. Interesting.
I that's actually good to hear because I just watched this video on like if you're posting your podcasts on social media, you're doing it wrong. Nobody starts listening to podcasts because of social media. Scotty Cameron coming in hot. Fooled you. Batgirl fangirl. Everybody's here for this comment section, including Dylan Pollack. Yay, they're back. Happy birthday, Jessica, in the past. It says James also. I normally save Christmas of the Joker for Christmas Day. I was surprised to learn it originally aired in November with 7 more episodes closer to Christmas Day. I kind of want to see the more darker episode that they actually intended to make. I much prefer the Holiday Nights episode, but to paraphrase what Bruce Wayne said at the end of Christmas of the Joker, it has its moments. Great episode, guys. 5 stars and 5 giant teddy bears. We got 3 more comments. Mark Aquino, extreme thigh strength. The less they actually talk about the episode, the funnier the show is, in my opinion.
Good.
The second to last, or the second comment is a spam comment that I'm going to delete right now. Nice. Our last comment says first, but it really says, this is Wency209, happy birthday, Jelly Jam, Jimmy, Johnny, John, Joe, Jokey, Joker, James. Also, happy birthday to a woman, James's wife. Here's your 2 lovebirds presents. Yeah, it's a little emoji man throwing shit, and it has a bat, a clown, a penguin, a crocodile, a plant, a frozen man, 3 bricks, a family, a gun, and 3 more bricks. Oh, it's the Waynes being killed in an alleyway.
This comment was Batman's origin. I finally saw it, bro.
Batman's origin, sir. And he didn't even see it. I described it to you.
I've been waiting for it for so long.
Okay, that's all of the mail. The last thing we have to do is tell you what the next episode is. It is called Heart of Steel. Now, we've had a Heart of Ice. That was the Mr.
This one's
Freeze.
Mr. Steel's origin.
This is Mr. Metal.
I know that there's no way this is a relation.
What?
I'm imagining Steel was a Superman.
Yeah.
Like one of the Takeover Superman.
Yeah. Why? I don't know why you know that, but yeah.
Death and Return of Superman video.
Yeah.
I love.
Oh yeah, no, the Max Landis thing. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, okay. I was like, when did we make a
terrible?
Yeah. Well, I was like, when did we make a Death of Superman video?
That is a good video.
It is, yeah. The one we made that we didn't make.
Yeah, that one too.
So that's your prediction.
Heart of Steel.
Yeah.
Batman
Steel.
versus Max Landis.
There was also a Steel live action movie where Shaquille O'Neal played Steel.
Oh, that's right too.
So do you think this is Shaquille O'Neal's introduction into the DCAU?
I think this is either Shaquille O'Neal's origin story or Heart of Steel.
Or, oh fuck, what is it?
Brian, we would never have NBA players in a DCAU episode.
Never. Shaquille O'Neal will not be in the DCAU.
You sound foolish.
I want to like Man of Steel is coming to mind, but I don't know if they'd introduce Superman into
the Batman show.
Animated series.
Okay, so you're predicting either a Superman guest appearance or Shaquille O'Neal. That's Shaquille O'Neal's origin story. How he became the crime fighter known as Shaq.
I just Shaq, man.
Yeah.
I just don't want to lose my streak.
Yeah, well, you have. So
you're gonna lose the streak.
Yeah, sorry, bro. Anyway, that's the episode. Thanks, Dylan, for being here. We appreciate
Thanks for
you.
having me. And thanks for having me next week and the week after that,
Yeah,
too.
of course. Whatever you say, yeah.
I like the fact that there was no prior announcement. I just want to pop up in episodes randomly.
You're going to, yeah. I think that's how it works. Yeah.
I like that idea. Yeah. Hopefully it's too late for you. Thanks for probably past your bedtime.
I gotta be up in like 4 hours.
We're about 15 minutes.
God, Dylan, why?
We're about 15 minutes here from what time it was when you started the podcast, and that was 2 hours ago. So yeah,
dude, guys, they say don't meet your heroes, and fortunately, I have much loftier heroes than you two.
Oh, good. So it's yet to happen.
Oh my God.
Well,
Brian, this was episode number 2. Was this episode number 2?
Yes.
How long have you been waiting to say?
Probably since like Keen Machine's coming.
I've just been not giving you any time to do it.
I've been waiting to strike.
Wait. Speaking of that, before we let you go and before we sign off here, Dylan, is there anything that you want to say? Like, you have like the floor. I know you've got your thoughts of the week from Dylan Pollack, but like, you're here. Is there anything you want to say to everybody, aka your other accounts?
Yeah, my other accounts. Was this good? You like me? You really like me? And if not, don't say anything. Just only say good things. That's how the internet works, right?
Blink if you liked Dylan. We'll see the blinks.
To the people who like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, as Dee says, tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good.
We know this.
I watch it. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But
we got every quote. We understood every quote. If you want to reach out to us and not Dylan, like the fire hand at the end of The Cat in the Claw Part 2, what? Email us at podcast@watchtowerdatabase.com. You can also send a voice message at anchor.fm/Bat-Wagon. And new episodes of this podcast are released every Friday, unless there's a random Friday where it doesn't happen, on the Podtower YouTube channel and your favorite podcast feed, whatever that is. For Dylan, it's YouTube, so I don't have to list it because I already said YouTube.
Yeah.
Nice. I was watching Sesame Street, and Elmo's World had a YouTube video playing, and it said the letter U, tube. Is that not close enough for copyright?
That's a good question. You should ask Google.
I'll ask Jim Henson.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I'll go to a seance for an episode he wasn't there for. He wasn't even alive for YouTube at all. Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Bye, listener.
Bye, Dylan.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dylan. Bye, Dylan.
It was nice of Commissioner Gordon to give you that recording of It's a Wonderful Life.
And it is a wonderful life.
It has its moments.
Don we now a gay apparel. Fa la 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 la. Merry